The story of four women, each traversing a distinct phase of the intricate and ever-evolving journey called life. Priyanka, a 32-year-old mother nursing her 3-month-old daughter, finds herself caught in the merciless grasp of fate. Married to Rahul after 8 years of unwavering love, their journey had been one of deep companionship, laughter, and shared dreams. Now, that very journey stands on the precipice of an unbearable tragedy. Diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, which has insidiously spread to her brain, she has been handed a prognosis too cruel to bear mere months of survival. Rahul, her devoted husband, is drowning in a sea of anguish, unwilling, unable to accept the inevitability. She, the love of his life, his college sweetheart, the one with whom he had built his entire world. How could destiny be so merciless? The weight of helplessness crushes him as he rushes from one hospital to another, desperately seeking a miracle that refuses to come. There are moments when the pain overflows and he collapses into inconsolable sobs, cursing the heavens, cursing himself. How could he not come to know? How can he let her go? Suzanne, a 43-year-old and adoring wife, a devoted mother, a tenacious career woman who thrived in the chaos of ambition. The soul of her family, she worked relentlessly to carve out a future for her children. Her daughter, Maria, dreams of touching the stars, yearning to become an astronaut. Her son, Stephen, still finds comfort in her embrace. The lower back ache that she had dismissed as nothing more than the aches of an overworked body turned out to be due to stage 4 breast cancer, already gnawing away at her bones, leaving her incapacitated, bedridden, stripped of all independence. Even the act of relieving herself is a humiliating ordeal. The pain is relentless, but worse is the knowledge of what is to come. She prays not for a miracle, not for time, just for release, an end that is swift and merciful. Maria and Stephen, their young hearts, too fragile for such devastation, stand helplessly, unable to comprehend why their vibrant, powerful mother is now just a shadow of herself. David, her husband, is haunted by a single unbearable thought. How did he not come to know? How did he fail to see, to act, to protect her? Aishwarya, a 58-year-old, the unwavering pillar of her home, radiated warmth. Her ever-smiling presence, the quiet force behind her husband Akshay's tireless ambition. Just 2 weeks ago, she had returned from a cherished tradition, joyfully sealing her eldest son's love story, welcoming Meher as a soon-to-be daughter of the house. She had laughed off the small stumbles, blaming them on her usual clumsiness. Then came the morning. She could not rise, left half of her body paralyzed, betraying her, and in that cruel moment, her world shifted forever. The diagnosis stuck like lightning. Stage 4 breast cancer, its ruthless grip tightening around her brain, stealing her away piece by piece. Akshay and their sons stand in silent devastation. Their home, once echoing with her love, now heavy with the unbearable weight of impending loss. Akshay drowns in helplessness, his mind tormenting him with the same relentless question. How did this happen? How did he not come to know? Could he have done anything to stop it? But fate is deaf to regrets, and all he can do now is watch as the light of his life flickers, fading into the darkness beyond his reach. Mumtaz, a 64-year-old lady, was the epitome of warmth, a devoted grandmother, a nurturing soul whose life radiated love and tranquility. For some time, Mumtaz had been struggling with breathlessness, an ailment she brushed aside until one day few droplets of blood stained her cuff. What seemed like a minor affliction soon unraveled into a devastating truth. She was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, its merciless grip extending to her lungs. Amir, her husband, unable to fathom the cruel twist of fate that threatened to wrench away the very essence of his existence. He had envisioned these years as a time of companionship, a period of quiet joys spent in her presence. She was the pulse of his routine, the comforting sight that greeted him every morning with a steaming cup of tea, the ceaseless melody of her chatter, the affectionate musings about their children, the laughter-infused gossip that filled their home. And now, as he stood at the verge of an unimaginable loss, his soul trembled at the thought of life without her. The mere notion of waking up to silence, of existing in a world where her laughter no longer echoed, was unbearable. His heart cried out in anguish, pleading, "Oh God, take me with her." And then, like a relentless tide, the same tormenting questions surfaced again and again. Why? How did this happen? How did he not come to know? Could I have done something to prevent it? You may not have yet grasped the staggering magnitude of this silent catastrophe. That every single day, over 1,800 women perish under the merciless grip of breast cancer. How many among them were a Priyanka, a Suzanne, an Aishwarya, a Mumtaz? Women brimming with dreams, laughter and love. Lives not merely lost but stolen. Their stories severed mid-sentence. Their future erased before they could unfold. And this is only one side of the tragedy. Please pause and consider the unseen grief. How many Rahuls and Akshays stand before funeral pyres, their trembling hands lighting the flames that consume not just the bodies of their beloveds, but their own very souls. How many Davids and Amirs kneel before fresh graves, their hearts shattered beyond repair, condemned to a lifetime of aching silence. According to World Health Organization, in 2022 alone, 2.3 million women heard the words that changed everything. You have breast cancer. Of them, 670,000 did not live to tell their stories. That is, 1,835 women lost every day. One life extinguished every few minutes. Every 14 seconds, somewhere in the world, a woman's fate is sealed by a diagnosis she never saw coming. And these numbers are not plateauing, they are surging. An unstoppable catastrophe. The Globocan Project, a global cancer research initiative under the International Agency for Research on Cancer, that provides estimates by cancer site and sex in 185 countries, including India. A harbinger of grim truths. Its 2022 data states that around 25% of breast cancer cases in India were in women less than 50 years of age. And this warns us of an even darker future. By 2040, India is set to become the cancer capital of the world. And the horror does not end here. A recent study spanning multiple nations, including India, has uncovered a devastating 79% surge in cancer cases among individuals under 50 years of age in the last 3 decades. A staggering and ominous shift. This is an unfolding apocalypse, and at the forefront of this ruthless onslaught is breast cancer. No longer a disease of the elderly, but a predator stalking younger women, striking them down in the prime of their lives. If this trajectory remains unchallenged, there will come a time when every family will bear the weight of this disease. This is just not data. This is devastation measured in numbers. For behind each number lies a shattered family, a grieving partner, a child deprived of his mother's love, and a love story left incomplete. And yet, the world watches, unmoved, unaware, or worse, indifferent, until tragedy knocks on its own door. Mahima Chaudhary was diagnosed with breast cancer at 48, Chavi Mittal at 42, Hamsa Nandini at 37, Hina Khan at 36, and Tahira Kashyap at 35, and Barbara Mori was mere 29 years old when this merciless disease struck. Even the wife of a beloved cricketer, Navjot Singh Sidhu, was not spared. These are just not names. They are ominous warnings. Breast cancer does not discriminate. It does not pause to consider age, social status, or faith. It does not care whether you are rich or poor, famous or unknown. Once believed to be a threat after the age of 50, this silent executioner is now preying upon younger women, creeping into their lives in their 40s, even in their 30s and 20s, without warning, without mercy. Do you see it now? This is no longer a distant fear. It is an imminent, relentless predator that roams freely, striking without prejudice. The question is no longer who is at risk, it is who is next. If you are a woman listening to this, have you ever truly considered that your risk of developing breast cancer is just as real, as immediate, as indiscriminate, and just as imminent as that of any other woman of your age? That you are equally vulnerable as Priyanka, Suzanne, Ashwarya, or Mumtaz, women whose lives were forever altered by this ruthless disease. If this thought has never crossed your mind, please pause and reflect now. Because the numbers do not lie. They are echoes of impending doom. The statistics are no longer distant figures. They are warning bells tolling for every doorstep, every home, every woman. Breast cancer is no longer confined to the whispers in hospital corridors. It is knocking louder and louder on the thresholds of every household, inching closer with each passing day. Are you prepared to face this truth? Or will you wait until the knock is on your door? And if you are a man listening to this, I implore you to understand that the woman you cherish, the one for whom you would defy the heavens, your beloved, your life's very essence, is just as vulnerable to breast cancer as any other woman of her age. Imagine, if you dare, the sheer terror of standing in Rahul's, Akshay's, David's, or Amir's place. God forbid if the unthinkable were to happen, if your life partner were to be diagnosed with this merciless disease. Can you fathom the helplessness, the despair, the crushing agony of knowing that you, her protector, her pillar of strength, stood powerless as fate tore her away? Could you endure a lifetime of regret, tormented by the unbearable weight of inaction, whispering desperate prayers, wishing you could turn back time, hoping in vain for a chance to rewrite fate? Are you willing to live in the torment of helplessness and drown in guilt, forever haunted by the question, could I have done something? Like so many Rahuls, Akshays, Davids and Amirs? Or would you rise as a guardian of love, steadfast and resolute, a man of unwavering honor, his spirit fortified by love and duty? Would you not choose to stand with unshakable pride, your heart swelling with the knowledge that you did take a step to fight for her? Would you rather not live with your head held high, unburdened by remorse, liberated from the shackles of regret, knowing that she remains by your side, safe, treasured and flourishing, not because of mere fortune, but because you choose to fight for her, because your love was not passive, not fragile, but fierce, boundless and relentless, unwilling to watch her slip away when you had the power to stand between her and harm. If this is what you want, then my dear friend, Brahams Protocol, a revolutionary genesis, is for you. Brahams Protocol is a radical approach that heralds an epoch of change in preventive healthcare, intertwining medical science with the profound dimensions of love and responsibility. For the first time in human history, in the entire world, a groundbreaking revolutionary shift in breast cancer screening has been conceived. Brahams Protocol, my dear friend, is the dawn of a new era, one that redefines the very framework of early detection by entrusting this crucial responsibility to none other than the soulmate, and that is you. This trailblazing paradigm, wherein every lover not merely bears the ultimate and unwavering responsibility of shielding his beloved from the perils of breast cancer, but also fortifies and empowers himself physically to wage an informed and resolute battle against this formidable nemesis. Brahams Protocol is not just a concept, it is a manifestation of my relentless pursuit to bridge the chasm between helplessness and action. As for the skeptics, until this very moment, across the vast and the infinite expanse of the cosmos, there is no doctrine, no ideology, no principle or methodology of such profundity and transformative potential and such an audaciously potent weapon against breast cancer has ever been conceived or realized. The Brahams Protocol is a selfless offering, a system given freely to all, born from the relentless pursuit of a singular truth, that no man should ever have to stand powerless as the love of his life slips away into the abyss of breast cancer. If you choose to disregard it, you are forfeiting the chance to shield your beloved from the harrowing, merciless breast cancer. The choice is yours, the burden is yours, and so will be the consequences. For when that loss comes, it brings with it an unrelenting torment, guilt, pain, regret. Forgive my bluntness, but cancer does not negotiate and grant second chances. It strikes without remorse, it devours, it destroys, and it leaves behind nothing but sorrow. Before I give you the Brahams Protocol, let me tell you why so many women are dying of breast cancer. A question that demands not just an answer but deep introspection. We know that death from cancer occurs when the disease reaches its most advanced merciless stage, stage 4. The staggering toll of 6,70,000 lives lost unveils three critical factors that underpin this crisis. Number one, the predicament of late diagnosis. The reason is both alarming and tragic. In its early stages, breast cancer remains a silent intruder, progressing unnoticed. The second fact is the harsh reality of treatment limitations. Breast cancer, when detected in its early stage, is entirely curable. It can be eradicated, offering patients a renewed lease on life. However, once it progresses into an advanced stage, it ceases to be curable and instead becomes a disease that only can be treated but not cured. And number three, the overwhelming financial burden. The exuberant cost of treatment is another devastating barrier. Many patients, despite their will to fight, succumb not to the disease itself but to the economic burden it imposes. Amongst these three factors, the most decisive and the transformative one, the factor that holds the power to reverse the fate of millions, is early detection, as nearly 80% of breast cancer patients present in stage 3 or 4. So late diagnosis, my dear friends, is the greatest killer, and this is precisely where Brahams Protocol will make a difference, as now Brahams Protocol is not merely an innovation but an urgent, inescapable necessity. A necessity that may very well decide the difference between love preserved and love lost forever. Another aspect is, why are we not able to diagnose breast cancer in the early stages? Despite remarkable advancements in medical science, the early detection of breast cancer remains an elusive goal. And you must understand that there are four primary reasons behind this challenge, each rooted in biological, physiological, and socio-cultural complexities. And the first most important factor is that the deceptive silence of early stage breast cancer. In its initial stages, breast cancer is largely asymptomatic. It offers no warning signs, no discomfort, no visible changes. The silent progression makes early diagnosis nearly impossible without proactive screening. Secondly, the very anatomy of breast cancer conspires against early detection. The breast is primarily composed of soft, fatty tissue, which is naturally pliable and loose. This anatomical feature allows a tumor ranging from the size of a glass marble to that of a lemon to remain concealed within the breast tissue, undetectable to the naked eye. Third factor is the hormonal influence. Throughout a woman's cycle, the natural ebb and flow of hormones cause cyclical changes in the breast size, density, and sensitivity. What may seem like normal tenderness during one phase of the cycle could, in reality, be an early stage malignancy going unnoticed. And the fourth factor is the unspoken barrier, social and cultural stigma. Even in the era of boundless information and so-called open dialogue, a deep-seated reluctance persists, which still prevents women from openly discussing breast health, even among fellow women and even with their own soulmate. This silence comes at a devastating cost. By the time a woman overcomes a hesitation and decides to see a doctor, her cancer has often advanced to an incurable stage. Now, as you can grasp the harrowing severity and the urgency of this crisis, a pressing and unavoidable question must be coming to your mind. Can I, as an individual, defeat this lethal disease in any practical manner? And the answer is a resounding yes. But achieving this victory necessitates two fundamental paradigm shifts. Firstly, we must reconceptualize the very essence of love. And secondly, integrate Brahams Protocol into your lifestyle. So, the first thing that we need to do is to redefine the definition of love. You must be wondering why I, Dr. Colonel Brahamjit, a medical oncologist, is speaking to you about love instead of medicine today. In our country, today also, the majority of marriages are arranged marriages, wherein the parents and the relatives play the primary role in selecting a spouse for an individual, and only a fraction of marriages are so-called love marriages. For we Indians are a special breed of humans. We are definitely unique. For unlike the rest of the world, we not only fall in love with total strangers whom we marry, we often not only vow to fulfill all our duties as a spouse, also go to any extreme possible to live up to our commitments and spend our lives together till the very last breath. We learn to love after marriage, and isn't it amazing and surprising that most of our arranged marriages survive our lifetime? For most of the married and men in relationship, expressing love and affection and fulfilling their responsibility translates into simple gestures such as talking sweetly, sending romantic messages on WhatsApp, or sharing romantic Instagram reels, looking after her worldly requirements such as buying her expensive gifts, traveling with her to exotic locations, dining at the choice of a restaurant, and spending a major chunk of their hard-earned money on her. In fact, Indian men are unparalleled when it comes to poetic declarations of love. We are perhaps the only breed of men in the world who promised to pluck the moons and stars for our loved ones. In no other culture does love find such grand theatrical expression. And when it comes to romance, every man fancies himself an embodiment of Shah Rukh Khan's charm, Hrithik Roshan's intensity, Salman Khan's charisma, or Ranbir Kapoor's allure, all in one, effortlessly personifying love in all its possible forms. Yet, when faced with one of the life's most crucial responsibility, the duty of safeguarding his beloved from the most notorious of all cancers, breast cancer, we fall behind. We excel in expressions of love, but in one battle that truly matters, we hesitate, are unaware or unprepared. If you are a man listening to these words, allow me to ask you a question. When was the last time you ensured that your wife or your lady love underwent a mammogram for breast cancer screening? Have you ever paused to consider that the woman you cherish with all your heart and soul, the woman you adore, the one who completes your world, could fall prey to this monster, which would not only incapacitate her but kill her? You dream of spending a lifetime by her side, of cherishing your golden years filled with laughter, memories, and love. But have you ever asked yourself, if she were to be diagnosed with breast cancer, would she even be there to walk beside you in your old age? We now stand at the most critical and defining juncture in our relentless battle against breast cancer. The imperative assimilation of Brahams Protocol into the very essence of our existence, its integration into the every fabric of our daily lives. To don the mantle of a medical oncologist is to bear an immense and solemn burden. Each passing day, I stand as a mute sentinel to the paralyzing dread, the abyssal despair, and unrelenting helplessness that ensnare the patients and their kin. Yet, despite every arduous endeavor, I am confronted with an inescapable truth: the intransigent limitations of modern medical science. For all the technological marvels we have unveiled, for all the groundbreaking therapies we have devised, and for all the sophisticated armaments with which we combat disease, one immutable reality persists, and that is the patients are diagnosed when it's already too late. A single tormenting question echoed through the corridors of my consciousness, refusing to be quelled. How, within the confines of my finite capacity, could I hope to mitigate an infinite affliction so boundless in its devastation? Amidst this anguished contemplation, a singular vision coalesced. An approach unencumbered by the constraints of cost, accessibility, or complexity. For the first time in the cosmos, through the unwavering faith of those who have entrusted me with their hope, and the divine beneficence that has guided my hand, and I, through the resolute and unfaltering love of my wife, a love so infinite in depth and so profound in its sanctity that words falter in its description, I forged something truly transformative, a revolution by itself, humbly offered by a son of the soil, a veteran of the Indian Army, and above all, a man who refuses to acquiesce to the inevitability of suffering. A protocol designed not to solely avert untimely loss, but to fortify the immutable bonds of companionship, ensuring that no heart should ever be burdened with a wrenching lament, if only we had known sooner. Thus, the Brahams Protocol was conceived, a vision wrought from suffering, tempered by an unwavering resolve, a manifestation of devotion, a legacy of unassailable protection for you. Thank you. Jai Hind.